Reorder point. So we're still talking about how our supply chain manufacturing process goes, and when is it the most efficient to reorder your inventory? Now, this goes a little bit in line with just-in-time inventory, right? Because, well, when should you reorder more inventory to reduce carrying costs? Because we know carrying costs of inventory are a concern for many companies, as storing inventory can be expensive, right? Not only do you have to rent space to store it, you need to insure it, you need to pay for utilities in that warehouse, you need to pay for people to watch it. So yeah, that can get expensive. The reorder point is super important for effectively managing inventory. We have a simple formula here, which is safety stock. This is the amount of units you want on hand as safety stock. So if you want to at all times have 100 units on hand to, make sure you, let's say you've got a big order out of nowhere. You never want to run out of inventory. You want to be able to have enough to sell. Plus lead time times sales during lead time. That right? So lead time is how long it takes you to order the inventory and for it to get there to you. And then how many sales will you have during the lead time? It's a pretty straightforward formula. It really is nothing too crazy. I mean, you should be able to understand this, right? At what point of units should you reorder? Well, it's when you reach the amount of safety stock you want to have on hand, plus the lead time times how many sales you'll have during this period. Make sure to keep in mind the period. If we're using weeks, use weeks. Apples to apples, oranges to oranges. Right? If it mentions months, then use months. I don't think it'll really use years, but it theoretically could. But good practice to always use the same time periods. Here's an example with a question. Well, Razor Crest Inc. sells 10,000 units each year and produces them in batches of 2,000. The company requires 6 weeks of lead time. All right, that seems pretty important. For unit production. Well, also these are important too. Didn't underline those. Additionally, Razor Crest has a policy of maintaining a minimum of 1,500 units as safety stock. Calculate the reorder point, assuming a 50-week year and constant demand. This is likely as difficult as this question will get. I mean, there's really nothing more my experience that I know of that they could throw at you. This is about it. And it's also just not a very heavily tested topic. I would definitely memorize this formula and for sure be ready for it. It's common enough that you probably see 1 or 2 questions on it. Get those points where you can. What's the solution here? Common plug and chug. So here's the actual formula. My best approach for questions is just write out your formula first. Since we have it up here, we don't really have to do that. And plug in what you have. Just plug in what is given to you right off the bat. And what's given to us right away is 1,500 units. That's given to us. And then lead time, well, we have the whole, weeks to weeks, months to months thing. So that's where we're going to kind of pause here for a second and calculate that. Well, we don't have so we have 6 weeks of lead time. That's where we're going to plug in here, but we don't have, how many units per week during the lead time, right? So let's see. 50-week year. Okay, we sell 10,000 units each year. So how many units do we sell per week? Okay, that looks like 10,000 units per year divided by 50 weeks. So it's a 50-week year. I know, yes, it's usually much more like 52, but the question will give you that information. So that gives us 200 units per week that we are going to sell. So that's the sales during the lead time. 6 weeks times 200 units per week plus our 1,500 units of safety stock gets us to a total amount of units of 2,700 units. As such, how do we interpret this in qualitative terms? Razor Crest Inc. will produce additional units when its inventory falls to 2,700 units. Perfect. Now, in reality, think about it. We're going to have a inventory management system that once the system detects 2,700 units, we're going to reorder some more. And these systems will probably have a lot more than just this simple formula. They can have more factors based on seasonality, time of the year, which is essentially seasonality, right? A lot of other factors, trends in the market, all of that. But now you understand this. Got it? Simple formula. You can knock it out of the park. Hey there. Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material. We'll do it together. Tap into the power of cpa.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.